A fair amount of people, like those who seldom agree with me on anything, take issue with my use of the phrase affirmative action president when referring to Barack Obama. Like many who even today receive preferential treatment in hiring or admissions because of their race or gender, Barack Obama hasn't put in the time, thus is considered vastly inexperienced when it comes to his applying for the top job in our nation. And the perception is he is receiving a lot of support where it shouldn't be coming from. According to a new Rasmussen poll, just 17% of voters nationwide believe that most reporters try to offer unbiased coverage of election campaigns. A Rasmussen Reports national telephone survey found that 4 times as many, 68%, believe most reporters try to help the candidate that they want to win. The perception that reporters are advocates rather than observers is held by 82% of Republicans, 56% of Democrats, and 69% of voters not affiliated with either major party. The skepticism about reporters cuts across income, racial, gender, and age barriers. Now, while I've been documenting examples of media bias for years, it's kind of comforting to know that it's beginning to stick and the American people aren't going to take it anymore. Pardon my repetition, but the point has to be made. Liberals want a black man or woman to win this fall's presidential election. Right now, they have Barack Obama. Nothing's a done deal. Today, the media has selected him. Tomorrow, they will work in concert to get him elected. It has everything to do with self-imposed white guilt and condescension, and has nothing to do with his qualifications or lack thereof. For example, using this season's candidates as examples, if Janet Huckabee wrote a college thesis saying she felt uncomfortable around her liberal black professors and students, would that have been understood by the mainstream media, or would Mrs. Huckabee have that scarlet R burnt into her forehead? I think we all know what the answer would have been. Janet would still be on her apology tour, would have attended at least one sensitivity training to get her mind right, would have done quality time at some inner city community center, been a guest on Al Sharpton's radio show to accept her punches with no guarantee of forgiveness, and would still have it all hanging over her head and staining her husband's campaign as long as it lasted. Liberals are morally equating the John McCain, Reverend John Hagee relationship to that of Barack Obama and Pastor Jeremiah Wright. While the length and quality of the associations vary to the point where the comparison isn't logically possible, imagine the media firestorm if Hagee had a whole DVD library of speeches where he blamed black males for raping white women and/or black women for ballooning the welfare rolls by giving birth around 70% without a husband to support her kids. In that context, imagine if Reverend Hagee shouted, "God damn America." Just what do you think would have happened to John McCain's campaign if he claimed to have gone on an overseas visit to see our soldiers and dodged sniper fire after getting off the plane, causing him and others to serpentine their way to the nearest cover? What do you think would be the status of his campaign today if video surfaced of him on the tarmac in that country, receiving a flower from a little girl surrounded by dignitaries from that nation, nary a sniper bullet whizzing by? Let's be honest here. John McCain would be toast. Fini, end of story, with a fork stuck in him. And let's not even try and guess how hard the media would be digging if there was a rumor that Ann Romney was videotaped at a private gathering, blaming corrupt N-word politicians running unstable governments in Africa that's resulted in the deaths of millions of Africans. How long would this remain a rumor? Do you think the media would be disregarding it or seeking to prove or disprove it once and for all? Again, I go back to the statement my very first editor sent me out the door with. It's the job of the media to report the news, not incite it. It's too bad today's reporters feel so comfortable blowing off the basic ethics of journalism, as they not only want to report a story of potential historical importance, but they also want to be a part of it. As many of us know, many of today's liberally trained journalism students leave school not wanting to report the news as it happens. They want to make a difference. And the only real way to do that as a journalist is to go beyond the job description. The media knows how much power it has. They know how to use it. Doesn't matter how many times they get caught red-handed slanting a story to their personal preference. They will continue to do so until they get what they want. Barack Obama, selected, and the media is working to get him elected. And the perception is self-imposed white guilt and condescension. The self-imposed white guilt and condescension. If Janet Huckabee wrote a college thesis saying that she felt uncomfortable around her liberal black, without a husband to support, Just what do you think would have happened to John McCain's campaign if he claimed to have gone on receiving a flower from a little girl surrounded by dignitaries that the nation, blowing off the basic, they not only want to report, but now while that may,